Sure, of course. The title is Live and Lead by Choice, Not by Chance. Flourish at any age, stage, and season of life. And so this book was born out of all of the research that I did, the conversations that I had, the work with my women's group that we ran for about 2.5 years. Ultimately, I took a pause to get this book baby out into the world because I was just juggling the final editing pieces and parts of it. And it's coaching in a book. Quite honestly, I have a lot of exercises in there. I don't take any of this too seriously, so it's a very lighthearted approach. I have kind of a snarky sense of humor, so I bring that out in the book. Many people have said it's like just talking with me, friends and people who know me professionally. It's like just having a conversation. And to be honest, I had written a good bit of it and was really kind of in the messy middle, and had a lot of life happening during the time that I was writing. My sister passed away, so it was a lot going on, and ultimately it didn't come out anywhere near the time frame that I'd wanted it to. And honestly, I think it's all the better for it, because I went back and looked at some of the stuff that I had written when I was really pushing hard to get it done, and I tossed it out because it wasn't me, it wasn't my voice. And then came back to it with a fresh approach and had a little bit, it's pretty vulnerable for some pieces of it. And I feel like I kind of had a little vulnerability hangover afterwards, but it was all the better for the delays. I think I'm really proud of it. What my goal, since this also was one of those taps on the shoulder, I did not do this so it could just, I could say, hey, this is my second book actually. And just to say that I published the second book. I didn't do it as a vanity project. I didn't do it because of my ego. And for that reason, I'm really committed to getting it in as many hands as possible, because I think, what's the point if not, I want to do that at this season of my life. I'm not hustling. I'm not grinding. Of course, I never did. But, that is my goal, is to get it into as many hands as possible. As a keynote speaker at conferences, we'll often have everyone in the audience get a copy of the book as a surprise. So it's a little bit like Oprah's favorite things. You get a book and you get a book and
Yeah. I like the way you're playing this.
yeah,
Yeah. There's like I'm appreciative that you're being real about like the process. Like
yeah,
I also read a book, but I didn't get it published. Like there is like the reason we're having this conversation right now has been an evolution of like I say I wrote it, but I walked around a lake for about 2 months, and I had like a person on my team go and like take the transcripts and like turn it into something. And it ended up being yeah, like I was very much like, and I was on a place, Jennifer. I was like, I'm gonna have a book a quarter. Like we're just gonna just knock out books. But I realized I'm like, that's not how I live. Like that's not the way that like people. It's not how people really interact with me. Like it's not. And so I ended up realizing I'm like, oh, for me it's about conversations, and that's why we're doing the
yeah,
podcast. And like things took off, but I had to write the book first.
yeah.
Um, and so what do you? I like how you talked about the delay and you came back and you read it again and such. I'm like, well, maybe that will happen with mine. Like the part of me that knows, like,
Yes.
there's a part of me that knows that it's gonna go out in the world. But I'm like, I don't even know how I'm gonna like promote it and such in the long run.
Right. Well, it really it needed to happen. The delays needed to happen. There was a fair amount of procrastination happening there. You can justify anything. Like I could make up excuses like, an Olympian. And so I just needed to sit down. Once I did look at it, I knew that to me, it rang of pushing, just
Yep.
pushing. And I'll be really honest with you, when I'm pushing like that, I get real preachy. And
Mhm.
that's not my natural personality at all. So I was like, no, we gotta get rid of this. So in your case, don't ever get rid of it, because that those bones are going to be good for something, down the road. You just never know.
I think that's it. I think there's a very real part of it. I appreciate you getting real about it here, where it's like it got pushy and like that's what it meant for you. Yeah, for
Yeah.
me, it ended up being something where it felt like I was. It felt like a series of blog posts that I had written, and they were like good blog posts. Like I believed in every single thing about it, but I was like, where's the proof? Where's the live? Like, am I just saying these things and like I'm just gonna add on to someone else's like life of to dos? Like, is that what I'm trying to do here? And I think that, like there was the preachiness and there was also like the lived experience. Like you're gonna see like with me, like I think that is becoming more and more apparent to me as I continue building out like my platform and the movement overall. It's like this is about experience and
Mhm.
experiences. I like doing live streams because I'm like a lot of people haven't done it, and so now they get like now this ends up being an experience for them.
Yeah.
That speaks more to me than than trying to what's it called edify myself or something like that.
Right, exactly. And I think a lot of the work that I do,
Mhm,
what I came to realize was that the more authentic
mhm,
I would be, which I am not that perfectly polished, scripted, choreographed speaker on stage. I'm goofy, okay? I do stupid stuff. And the more I could lean into that, the more people related to me. And the more I gave them permission to be their authentic selves. Um, so I tell a story in the book, and when I'm speaking, a lot of times that I am a certified speaking professional, which is a designation um, uh, bestowed by the National Speakers Association, and I'm one of only four in the state of Louisiana. And but I tell the story about when I first went to NSA, and believe me, NSA has been a godsend for me and my business, because of the learning that happened there. And as I was learning, it was the connections that I made there. Because it can be lonely, this business, or just being an entrepreneur, a solopreneur. And so I'd go to those conferences, but I would see these amazing speakers on the main stage. And when I tell you, it seemed like, every word was scripted. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean it in a good way. They were smooth as silk. And then I would come back suffering from what I later termed OCD, which is obsessive comparison disorder. And so I started, I guess, unconsciously trying to adopt what I saw there. And my friend Mary came to hear me speak one time in New Orleans, and we were having a little beverage afterwards. And she said, "You were great, but where did Jen go?" And I was like, "Excuse me, what? What was that?" And she said, You're fun and you're funny, but when you were up there, and you were great for them, but I know a different you. It's like you put on this persona." And I knew she was right. Um, I I knew it, but it was not conscious. It was not done consciously. And I started to think about things. And here in South Louisiana, Cajuns are not portrayed always in the media as the most savvy and sophisticated people. And so I guess I didn't want to be lumped into that. And I was trying to be Jen, the generic speaker, which was terrible. So from that wonderful feedback, that was such valuable feedback, I have since created, a successful speaking business and coaching, and written not one, but two books. And I don't think any of that would have ever happened if I had continued trying to be someone I'm not, and hadn't
mhm.
started to get to work on just being who I am.
Okay, now you open the door to the conversation that like I want to go into, right? And it's because it's more than authenticity. Like the reason I talk about outliers edge is because I really do believe that who you are is your biggest edge, right? And I like to talk to the outliers because I'm like, all right, well, it's even more distinct, like who you are. Like you haven't been able to hide it. You've been going through and you've been getting this stuff like you're not supposed to be here. Like
Right.
I, like I even like even you said in Louisiana, like being like come like being Cajun, like there's a way that people think about you. I have that as a black man in America. Like there's a way that people think about me. Even when I went as an American to Singapore, there's a way that people think about you, right?
Yeah.
And it's like you're not supposed to be in the places that you're in.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like it sounds to me like there's like an element of like you learned what the room was supposed to look like, and this is how people are in this space. And like one way or another, you took it. I describe myself. I've been told that my persona comes off as misunderstood chameleon. you know and Jennifer, this is one of the reasons why I think that the live stream component has been so beneficial here.
Mm,
I'm actively talking about it because it's doing something to me. I can't hide. I was literally talking about this earlier. I can't hide in this space. I get it. Like I can't be frozen. I can't ten
right.
thousand minutes is a lot of time. I can't just come off with the polish. 10,000 minutes in 6 weeks, a lot of time. Can't be polished. I'm like, do you want to just go on live because I have to get a 10,000, and we got to we're just gonna make this work, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm really grateful for your friend bringing this in here.
Mhm.
I think it's a subtlety of like it's almost like being so right that you're wrong, or that it comes off wrong. Uh,
Yeah.
Tell me if you remember here, because we kind of fast forwarded to and now look at me now, right? So I have found that authenticity comes with a price. There's a cost to pay for it, and I like to make sure that I slow down into the discomfort in it, the edge of it there, because otherwise it looks like I just have to go out there, live my authentic life. Everything's gonna work out and everything's gonna be great. And so for I get it. I get that I'm experiencing you. I'm like, oh yeah, no, she's the real deal. Do you mind letting us know some of what did it take for you to actually show up as you did? What did it take to change the way you were doing business or how you saw yourself or all that to allow you to now see how to now show up the way that you are?
It took well, it took the intention, first of all.
Mhm.
It took the intention, and I had to make it front and center because my default would be to go back into the generic speaker mode.
Mhm.
Um, because it's scary to really be yourself, and to let people see who you are, not knowing how they're going to react. So I just had to keep reminding myself that the more I would show who I am, the more people responded and resonated. And it wasn't like, um, as you said, it was much more of my competitive edge to be myself because nobody could compete with me there. Um,
Boom. Literally, try and be a better me than me. I dare you,
right,
right? Go at it.
exactly,
I'm having a hard enough time being me. You try
exactly.
doing it. Go ahead.
So in a way, now it's almost um, s- easy, and it's a relief to just be myself. And I still get those jitters or the butterflies when I have a keynote or something, but I always remind myself I'm excited to see where this is going to go. And I'm excited to lean into myself. So I never try to script anything or have it that polished because that's not me. And so I have a fairly quick wit. I've been told things will happen in the moment, and I'll bring that into the talk and that kind of thing. So it's 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 freeing when you can relax and be yourself because you know that no matter what happens, it's not like, "Oh my god, I forgot my line." No, I didn't have a scripted line anyway.
It's really fun talking to you about this right now because I am
Excuse me.
I'm playing with some of these things through my own experience right now, right? This live stream experience that we're having, it is the first time in a long time that I've felt like I've had to play publicly, visibly as myself. I've been it's been easy to do it behind the scenes, reaching out to people, coming to my private space of the podcast, and I get to
Right.
like curate it and then put on the thing on here, and like I can be this way beforehand and I show up this way afterwards. And
Yeah.
so like it would always get me, Jennifer, like it'd be like as soon as we hit like as soon as I turned off live, the next 2 minutes of conversation, I was like, where was this? Where was me? Where was I this whole time? And where was this? Like, why couldn't we have had this the whole time? Because like this I would be down for, you
Yeah.
know? Versus like I'm interviewing and well, I'm answering questions. And it's like we were missing each other. And I think
Yeah.
there's something here that's like with this element of I really I get it. It's like you can't do wrong if there's no right. It's like I'm just doing me. There's no right or wrong to it. Like in the
Yeah.
moment, I was present to what was there, what showed up, and I did the best that I could with what I had, and
Yeah.
I'm proud of that. Let me
Yeah.
not put words in your mouth, but like that is what is flowing through me as you're speaking.
Well, you said a word that you nailed it, that you're present in the moment. And that's where the really authentic me shines. So I'm going to riff off of what's happening in the room. I promise you, I'm going to get there early. If there's speakers before me, if I'm working with teams, if I'm working, look, I was working with a team in Mississippi, an executive leadership team. We had exactly 3 hours. We had a lot of ground to cover. They were all going to be leaving that meeting and getting to the airport and getting on a flight to another conference. So this was it. And they brought me in, and this was very much planned and the whole 9 yards. I got my slides up, and this is a teamwork kind of a thing. It's not a keynote or anything, but a small group, but a very important leadership team. Power goes out in the whole complex. Boom! It's August in Mississippi, so it's hot.
Ooh. Yeah.
Now I know a lot of people would have said, and even the meeting planner was like, well, I guess we can wait and see. I was like, no, boo, we're going to roll. We're going to just roll. So I was like, let's conserve the AC that we've got. We used my laptop screen as with no projector. Thankfully, we were a small group. We didn't need more than that. Thankfully, it was fully charged. Let me tell you that power came back on at the 2.5 hour mark of our 3 hour program. So had I waited to get power, we would have gotten nothing done.
Yeah.
So I have to be able to react in the moment when I'm working with individual coaching clients, or when I'm working in a group coaching kind of a scenario. I pick up on what other people say. Now I'm not steering the conversation, but I'm kind of pulling that thread and saying, well, you said the word being present. Let's talk about that some more. And so it's about, I've learned maybe by the hard way, but I have to really be present and tuned in to be of best service.
Yeah.
Um,
I feel it. I feel it. Like there's a and it's what I am imagining. I don't know what like the feedback was in there and such, but I'm imagining the level of trust that I would have as a senior leader in an organization to see that you weren't flustered, to see that you stayed on your game, that you chose to make a decision as to how the thing was going to go. And to me, that speaks more to the environment that they find themselves in. Right. It's
yeah,
like we might have all the plans out there that we have, but like in reality, the lights go out for the entire building. And like
absolutely.
we thought we were going to get this done in a quarter. It's now October 1st. We thought it was going to be, like, or maybe
Yeah,
even like November. It's like we had the whole year. We thought we had the whole thing out there. And now we have the last sixth of the year to do something with it. We have the
exactly.
last 30 minutes out of 3 hours to go do something with it. Like,
Right.
like there's something in that where, there's a level that I think that comes from like that level of presence and authenticity and trust in self. and like I got that you also knew what you were there for. You're like, we only have 3 hours. Like, we don't have the time for like, okay, sure, power went out. That was not on me. We
No.
got stuff to do. But I
Yeah.
think there's something that comes through there that creates the trust that helps share it and allows I call it like the agendas in the room, right? I feel like you're someone who has all the lived experience, has it all mapped out. Like we can share the slides, we can do it, we can have the power on, we can have the power off. But what are you like? How are you actually looking at things?
Yeah.
You just use this word, and for you, you said it so casually. But for me, like that word, there's a lot of power in that word, whether it's working for you or not. Like, you're
Yeah.
listening with deep intent. You're hearing what most people don't hear. And if I'm getting you right, you're seeing what most people don't see. Let me
Yeah.
check in with you. How true does that feel to you, Jennifer?
It's very true. And this is something that it's come from years of experience. I've worked with some very tough teams.
Hmm.
I've worked with in situations where you could cut the tension with a knife and they come out of there. And I'm not taking any of the credit for it. But what I will say, you use the word trust, and trust is at the heart of every single relationship that you have, and in particular in these leadership teams. And so when we bring them together, it's about dialing down your egos, rolling up your sleeves, and let's get at it. And so I work with them on building trust first as a foundational first step before we can start talking about the issues and disagreeing about the issues and pushing on each other about the issues. And then we can talk about what are we willing to commit to, and how are we going to hold each other accountable, and what are we going to call success? How do we define success? So those are all the things that we work on together. But if we don't have trust, we don't have anything. We're wasting our time.
I love this. I love this. Yeah. There's a book that you just made me think of. It's called Community: The Structure of Belonging by Peter Block. Um,
Oh, yes.